What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Team Solemn Circus live video. It's on the left side here. We have Melodious going up against Primite Blue Eyes on the right side here. We're playing Primite Blue Eyes for the first time, so it might be a little bit rough. Let me know in the comment section down below if you see any misplays on our parts. This is going to be a POV as well, I think, in the upcoming week, so maybe later on in the week, probably Wednesday or maybe Saturday. So you guys can see the live reaction. We are testing at this point, so we are going to be adding a testing match here. But we are going to be seeing a ostinato, or a first movement solo here, going to be activated when they win the die roll. This is going to be very powerful, being able to summon out the Shapina here. So they did choose to go for an Aria at this point, but we have somebody else playing as well. It's like a team of two playing, which is pretty good. And then we're going to be noticing with the refrain. Now, we do activate the Veiler on this, but that's going to be fine because they can actually synchro summon, or I should say fusion summon, into the Botcha. Botcha can activate the effect, allowing us to then search our deck for the summon at the level 7 here, I should say. Then we'll be able to activate the effect of refrain, dump into the level 4, the couplet, and then we can activate the couplet effect to special summon out the level 4 there. Back, so we have another synchro, then we can actually activate the effect of couplet in the scale to search for the concerto, and we get our plays going this way as well. So we did get to hit with a Veiler, but it's not going to matter that much because we are going to potentially go full combo on this, which is pretty nice. We're going to go Concerto here, and that's going to allow us to fuse, and we're going to go up into an Etoile. Now you want to put Etoile in attack position, which is important. Now, they do summon out in defense position there. Now, later on in the turn, we do talk about this, why you want to summon an attack, because, it is quite easy to beat over. I think Ether Barrel is actually big enough to beat over it, but we're going to be seeing that Botcha summon out the copy of the Soprano once again. And this does play around a whole bunch of stuff. I don't know if Nib the Etoile is on the third or the fifth summon. But they do have Sonata, which can summon itself out, so we're going to be protecting our guys once again. Protecting the level 7, I should say, on the field, so we can bring it back and gain more stuff. We're going to go on now into the Shiberta, allowing us to banish True Card, which is very good against Blue Eyes. Now, obviously, they don't know exactly what we're playing, but this is going to be a locals testing match. So we're going to summon out level 4 by pendulum summoning, because we did add the level 7. Then we're going to activate the effect, allowing us to go for the Shiberta. And we have a double Shiberta and a Etoile. So we essentially have 6 Shibertas at almost any, or 3 Shibertas at any time, a triple banish at any point in the game, because we're going to be able to go banish 3, and then we're going to bounce with the Etoile at some point, and then we can either bounce both of them, banish 3 more cards, or we can banish a bunch at a time. So it kind of depends how you want to go for this. And we do go for a Wish, Sending Wish. They do Ash that there. We normal summon a Sage, which can let us search for the Maiden. And we do opt to let that resolve, perhaps. Let's see. Now, we have Shiberta, so we have no problem really getting rid of a whole bunch of stuff there. We have a Veiler, and we just scoop it up. We have the Brick and a Brick Eyes in hand. So moving on to game 2 with Melodious end up taking game 1 with a very formidable board. Imperm, Ash, double Shiberta, and an Etoile is pretty great. As well as, having follow-up. If something goes to the graveyard, sometimes you actually just leave either an Etoile or a Shiberta on the field. When it goes to the graveyard, it actually puts back the Concerto back into the deck, which then you can search with Couplet later on as well. Get the Fusion Summon once again. So stuff like that is very important, where you, if you even leave Etoile goes to the graveyard, you get to summon out a Botcha or Baka from the extra deck, and then Baka will summon out the Refrain search for Couplet, summon out one other one there. So you have a bunch of different amazing recursion with this deck. So there's that ability as well, and you're not going to lose. There's no way you actually die that turn unless they find a way to out rid of your board completely and then beat over you with a whole bunch of stuff. And I don't believe that Primite Blue Eyes has the ability to do that right now. I could be mistaken. I know there is an OTK option that, if you are opting to play Jet Dragon, I don't think Jet Dragon is going to be necessarily the greatest. I know some players are testing it. I was testing it at the start. Shout out to Nathan. Nathan loves that card himself. But right now, I don't think that it's necessarily good. I was talking to Josh, the player, who's also helping the Melodious player, and he kind of put me on the build that's a little bit more slow. I like going slow to the ground, not losing to Nib and stuff like that, not losing the Ghost Ogres and everything. Going for 1 Spirit and a copy of Sears, whatever, Sphere, the Seals, the Heavenly Spheres, is really good. You don't have to go for triple copies of Spirit Dragon. I think that's just asking it in a beer to hit with hand traps. So I definitely wouldn't recommend doing that. But move on to game 2. We are going to be seeing the Blue Eyes deck to go first. Now that's something I want to mention. We don't need to summon out 3 spirits and go for these huge lines where you're summoning out monsters with like Crimson Dragon and stuff like that. So we like to go slow to the ground, playing with spheres, bouncing cards, having like a Seals bounce as well as like Spirit going to be negating, and then like have the lowly load going to be search for Ether Barrel or the Drill Beam and getting a negate. Like that's pretty good with like having cards in your graveyard and having the recursion as well. It's like essentially a mid-range deck here. So we go for Ether Barrel, which sets a copy of the Drill Beam after Lordly Load summons itself out. Then we can link away for the Sage of Eyes of Blue, or Spirit of Eyes of Blue. And this card's absolutely insane. Let's use search your deck for the Mausoleum, and then Mausoleum itself plus Sage is going to be a nice combo. So we can activate the effect, send in the Blue Eyes from the deck, and then we can activate the effect of these spirits tagging out into the Blue Eyes there. But we're going to activate the Maiden first. So we're going to activate Maiden to search for the True Light and place that onto the field. And now whenever we do summon up that Blue Eyes, we are going to be able to summon out that Maiden from the graveyard. So we're going to be activating the effect, summoning it out, and then we're going to activate the Maiden, summon itself out. So we now have room for a Synchro, which is pretty nice. And we still have the Lordly Load as well as the True Light, which can then bring itself back out. Now, we go for Spirit here. We can negate the True Light if it does get hit with Ghost Ogre. And now Ghost Ogre is becoming a little bit more popular as well, so that's something you have to be careful about. But like this is a pretty decent board for us. Like we're in a good game state, so we're gonna go for that Spirit Dragon. Then we're gonna activate Lordly Load, calling Blue Eyes White Dragon here. The Merino True Light effect. Summoning out a Blue Eyes or setting. So we're going to set a Wishes from the deck. I feel like you definitely just set Wish. So we jet the check for Ghost Ogre here. Now, we really should not have summon Blue Eyes first if we were just going to activate. So we're going to set the Wishes here. Then we're going to activate Wishes, sending the Ghost Ogre. And then we do see Ash responding to this, but we have the Cavalier for Ash here, which is why we played it in this way. I mean, you shouldn't if they had Ogre, but we're going to search for a Sage and the Trap card here off of the Wishes. And then we can normal summon the Sage with our additional normal summon off the Mausoleum. We can then search for a hand trap here, going to be a Veiler. And we are off to the races, honestly. We're going to go up into a Sage, or a Spirit off the Sage, and then we're going to go up into the Seals. We set an additional card, and we actually have a double pop, which is pretty nice, off of the Trap card that we end up searching. And we have the Drill Beam Negate as well. But that's going to be essentially it for us. Which is, honestly, it's pretty nice. So we're going to be seeing a Straw Standby Main, activate Ultimate Slayer in response here. And this is going to be sending a Spirit, sending the Mahong, which is going to be shuffling back, or bouncing back the Spirit to the hand. And then Mahong will be able to send a card to the graveyard, which is pretty impactful. Now we can chain True Light at some point and bouncing it back to the hand, or Lordly Load in this case, so that we have the Drill Beam going to be live. But we're going to be activating the effect there. They're going to target these Seals. Now we do chain Seals, target Lordly Load, but they have a Call by the Grave of their own here, which definitely should be used on these Seals. So we're thinking on this there. We have Barrel, which can bring itself back out during the next phase as well. And then Drill Beam will be able to reset itself because we're going to be controlling the Primite monster, of course. But like you might be wondering, well, why are we playing Seals like this? We are playing triple copies of Spirit right now in the extra deck, as well as I think double or triple copies of Seals, because we're also playing Extravagance and Prosperity in this deck. So that's going to be a little bit fun. And let me know in the comment section if you guys want to be seeing a deck profile with these cards as well. Melodious is kind of like our little matchup deck that we are playing against right now. It's a lot of the decks that we actually end up playing like as a, if they can beat this, it's definitely a bit of a good deck, because Melodious has like really huge potential and makes these huge boards, but it also loses like a hand trap. So like if you don't really open up your hand traps, but it has also the ability to play a bunch of hand traps, like if you can beat Melodious, you have a good chance against the meta, which is pretty nice. Like, obviously, Melodious has good matchups against, like, Malice and stuff like that. It doesn't have the greatest matchup against Ryziel unless you could go first, but it's still pretty powerful. So we see the True Light summoning out the Blue Eyes White Dragon, and they activate a first movement solo here. And we can chain the Drill Beam to negate it and banish, but is it really worth it here? Do we have an Ash Blossom maybe instead, or we just let it happen? Now, the Trap card does pop 2 cards non-targeting as well, which is very important, because if they summon out the Aria, it's not actually going to matter, because we can just pop the Aria and another card and not even really worry about it. So that's kind of important to note as well here. That the first movement solo is not going to be that crazy for us if they summon out the Aria herself. We'll still have the Drill Beam negate. And those are both like known cards. They know we have Drill Beam as well as the Trap card. So like, it's something they have to think about. And I think they only have like 1 card left in the hand. So they do go for the Aria here. We're then force active the Trap, which has to pop the Aria. So the next card they do summon, which is going to be a reframe, we can actually use the effect of a Valor. We have the Drill Beam anyways, but Valor it, so it is going to be gone. And we do end up winning game 2 there just like that. So we are now 1-1. Now Melodious will be able to go first here. Hopefully we'll be able to open up a few hand traps, or they'll be able to open up maybe like some bricks, and it'll make us able to play. Obviously, we're playing the Blue Eyes deck. We want to be able to win. But yeah, or maybe it's going to be a good game. There's not much we can do. There's a lot of cards like being able to bounce back before we get to the Link Monster. It's going to be quite hard for us to play if they do bounce that back immediately. Now, obviously, Lovely Load is going to be an amazing card that's going to let you activate the effect. But it's still quite difficult to kind of play through all this stuff. Now, Drill Beam is a crazy card if you have like Primite, Ether Barrel, or another Lovely Load in the hand. But it is a little bit of a hard matchup. Now, they don't play Bestials or Nibiru's most likely for us. That is going to be kind of fortunate for us. You know, there is a lot of Bestials in the current meta game. I think there was like a grand total of 24 Bestials total in the whole top cut of yesterday. So that is kind of important though. Like in the top cut of regionals, there was a whole bunch of Bestials. Now, one player was playing 7, so that itself is a heavy total. But yeah, like, do you really want to get your Bestials? If you do end up Bestialing like both Blue Eyes, Roar is kind of your only way of getting it back. But if you also like just wait until they activate Maiden in the graveyard, you Bestial that out, there's going to be quite a hard problem to get the Spirit onto the field unless they already have a Sage in the hand they can normal summon. So that's going to be pretty much an impactful thing if you are playing against Blue Eyes. But when we went to game 3, we are going to be seeing the Melodious deck end up going first here. And their hand doesn't look too crazy. We're going to see a normal summon of Soprano, which is going to be never a good card. And then we do special with the Cannon here. They're going to activate the effect of Soprano. We do Ghost Ogre this, and they say I should have put that in defense position. We say go ahead, put it in defense position. It's like been like 10 seconds. Who cares? They set 2 cards and just pass here. And this is not looking too good for Melodious. Hopefully one of those sets are going to be a pretty impactful card here. We do activate a Lordly Load, and they are thinking on that activation there. So we are going to be seeing that activation get negated with a Solemn Judgment, going to be negating it altogether, making it so that it's not able to essentially resolve. Now, if we do have another copy of it, we are going to be able to resolve it there because we are going to be able to like play it again. We do make sure that we can do that. We take a second to read it because the activation was negated, and so you can only use the effects of Lordly Load once per turn. So you could activate it once again, but we're going to be seeing the Ether Barrel going to be activated, and we do have an Imperm set there, but we chain it onto the Ether Barrel. That is a pretty good, if we don't have a way to stop this, we are going to essentially just be punished by this Lordly Load, adding the Drill Beam, and we cannot beat that in this game state. We're going to go for a Wishes, sending a Baylor to the graveyard. Now, we did take a Wild Ascend, so maybe we have a couple better cards in our hand, but we search for a Maiden as well as the Roar here. They only have 1 card left in their hand as well with 4,000 life points, so we are going to be pretty well here. We do go for the Maiden, place a True Light, then we go up into the Spirit. Spirit's going to search for the Mausoleum. We then place the Mausoleum here. We're going to activate the effect, sending a Blue Eyes from the deck, and then we can go for the Spirit summon itself back out. We can summon it in attack position, and then we're going to see Maiden summon herself back out as well. Now we put her in attack. We actually changed it to defense position, which makes sense. She has no attack. Now we can't really game them here, I don't believe. We're going to go up into a Spirit Dragon, and then we will see a normal summon of a Sage, activating the effect, letting us search for another Veiler. So we added the Veiler that we end up discarding right back to the hand here, not making any much of a difference. But we do have Roar to also summon out the Blue Eyes here. We go for Roar in the Judgment column there, making sure we do play around those Imperms columns completely. And then we are going to summon out that Blue Eyes. We now go for Tyrant, or we're going to go for Tyrant here by banishing Wishes equipping, and then we essentially fusion some of those away into a Tyrant Dragon. And then Tyrant Dragon will be able to reset a trap card. Now, I did think for a second it said any trap card from any graveyard, but that would have been way too busted. So we have essentially just a way to beat over stuff. This is just so we can get some damage on the field. It's not that big of a problem. We also are preventing targeting now because we have the fusion in the graveyard. We're going to be dealing some damage, dealing a grand total of 32, bringing them up to 800 there. And then we do have the True Light, which can activate its effects. Now that could have gave us game, but we just did not. Now we are playing a little bit safe because they would have, nibbed us, and then we would be able to summon out the Blue Eyes, I guess, during the end phase. But we then go True Light. We link away into a Seal just so we can kind of stop. Or we don't. We're gonna go Sage into the Spirit, and then we're gonna link away into a Seals here. So we have a kind of a way to interrupt our opponent during their turn, not just having a negate. We're going to bounce back one of those cards. So we do see an Ostinato there, and that's going to be pretty fine. We do not care about this at all. There might have been a world where we do chain like the Spirit summon out into the Ultimate Spirit, so it is negate a card, but we're going to be seeing Ostinato send some of the Baka. Baka will activate the effect, and we do chain the Veiler here, and they scoop it up here, realizing they have lost the game. And we're going to be seeing Melodious end up losing here, with Blue Eyes taking it in Game 3 with those hand traps and the power cards. Unfortunately, when you open up Imperm, Judgment, Cannon, and a Herald, it's not going to be doing that good, especially when you get Ghost Ogre on your starter there. But regardless, hope you're watching the video. Don't forget to like, comments for more content like this. Stay safe. Peace.